June 1st. Wow, we're halfway through the year, pretty much. Oh my goodness. Hi, it is Robbie from Southern California, and this is a month I really have to get cracking and get things planted. Now, this is the turmeric table. I'm not even through working on it. I never got this out, and look, they're popping up everywhere. I'm propagating also geraniums. Aren't they gorgeous? So I need to get these either back in the pot, the ones that I've harvested and I've got them stored, and the ones that I left and never did and they're coming up, I might freshen up the pot on the side a little bit, maybe remove some soil and add in some fresh from the ground or something. I'm not sure yet, but a lot of times when you leave them in the pot for 2 years, they'll flower. Though I did have one flower on the first year. So there is the cherry garden, and I am busy. Look at this, taking out soil, putting in new, adding in leaves and different collards and brassicas. I am not there yet. And like I said, this is the month I do it because we generally here in Southern California where I am, we don't usually get really hot until, it has changed. We used to get hot in the beginning of July, and we used to have what's called June gloom. Now our June gloom for the past quite a few years have gone into July, and July can be June gloom, which is fog in the morning and cool and doesn't warm up till the afternoon. So it's kind of pushed a little bit. It doesn't matter. It needs to get done. I've got the first one done. The zucchini is taking off. I've got a geranium in there that I'm propagating, red vein sorrel, and a big celery, which I have to watch. If I need to, I can lift the celery out because it's in a pot and let the zucchini continue. If I do that, boy, that's beautiful. Green celery, my favorite. I would lift it out and then just add in some soil. You're going to see a lot of these pots sitting around as we walk through the garden. And that's a new setup that I'm going to do everywhere, so I don't have to go looking for soil. We can get into that another time if you want in detail, but they're set up to create soil as Mother Nature does. So if I need something, I just grab it and I'm going to label it. Not sure yet how I'm going to do it, but I want to be able to spot it. Like right now I put a big broad pink label in there and I know that's it. Grab it. It's ready to go. I don't know. It hasn't been here long enough to see. Yeah, there are critters and tiny earthworms. This is to create, like I said, soil, and I water it. We'll talk about that another time. So I am working in here and I'm still trying to get out last year's tomatoes. I'm trying, and yet look at this. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. I've been harvesting tons of strawberries out of here, and I've left this. This is a beautiful broccoli. The broccoli has been left for the birds. As you can see, they're peeling it open and getting the seeds out. Now this is a pure broccoli. It's not a hybrid. See the black seeds? That, yes, maybe I should put it down there. And if it grows, maybe I'll leave it. But I am leaving a lot for nature. I understand that most of you won't have the space that I've got, and you can't work with nature like we do. This is something I absolutely love. So this is my passion, what I do. And then here, this is prepped and ready to go. I really would like to put a watermelon there, and I could trellis it up with tomatoes on the other side. I'm going to debate on, and decide what I'm going to do. But these pots, as I'm filling up and redoing my totes and adding in leaves, I set them up. So if there's something I want to plant, all I have to do is grab it, like I did in here. See, that's pot marigold. I'll show you that in a minute. So now I put it in here. It gives it a little shade until I'm ready to move it, because see how far down it is in that pot? And then I can transplant it, or I can leave it in there and it will send its roots out and grow. So that's what's going on here. What I'm going to do in here? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Come back in 2 weeks and see what I'm going to do. Now the truck bed, I think I'm done, but I'm still going to spot things in. Here's the pot marigold that I planted. Look at that. And this is where it came from. I'm not going to climb back there, but it's way back there. See the pot marigold? So that's growing. I collect the seed heads, and what I do is I sprinkle them in this thing. Look, they're coming up everywhere. This is nothing. I've pulled out so many. This is just something else. This is the Chinese forget-me-not. And this is another type of succulent. No, it is not a jade plant. And then here's another Chinese forget-me-not. But they keep coming up, and as they come up, I move them. And that's what I did in here. I threw some seeds in there, and You want to always try to keep the yellow leaves off so the plant will grow good. Look at this, bursting into flower. Aren't they gorgeous? So I'm going to collect, oh, here's more. I'm going to collect a ton of seeds off that and get them all over the place. Will the rabbits eat them? I don't know because they're growing in the truck bed, but I know that the snails can't get to them there. The snails can get to them on the bottom. They don't like going up the bucket, though they will. And they didn't know it was in there, so they grew, and they haven't touched the pots. So that's what's going on with the truck bed. We have a lot to do this month. All these weeds have to be taken out because they come and inspect. I was surprised to find out that in Malibu and Pacific Palisades, where all the fires were, that they don't have the fire department inspect. It's something they're just starting, and we've done this, boy, since I moved in here in the 80s. They will come out and they will tell you, we don't want this plant like this. We want this pulled out. This is combustible. You've got to take it out. And they go through and they show up. And if they come back and you didn't do it, you can get fined. So here is the wall that is, well, I could call it and say it's done, but I'm not sure because I haven't done this one with the celery. Got zucchini growing in here like mad. Look at this, is the Chinese forget-me-not. When you replant them out of the hard ground, see how they get a spike? Because they're actually flowers that florists use for bouquets and arrangements. When they grow on the ground, they don't get that tall because look how dry it is. So that's about it. And then they die back and they'll come back next year. See, they're all over the ground? Everywhere. Oh, here's a monarch butterfly. So I've got the celery. I may leave it because I'm actually using it. I make a really good salmon salad, sometimes with tuna, can, and it's so good to add in. That is red, but it's just growing so beautiful. I'll probably keep that. And then I've got all the extra soil stuff grows in it. As I kind of dig around, look how beautiful that is. More zucchini. This is ridiculous. This has to come off today. We've had a very busy week. Look how big this is. So I've got to get that one off and that one, and that's one plant. I will tell you, if I don't get them off quick enough, I could lose the plant because the plant's going to say, I don't want seeds in there. Oh, I did my job. I'm done. It could die back. I don't want it to do that. That will be coming off today, and I'm going to hand pollinate a couple of these. Even though the top is open, the problem is I don't see any male flowers around. That's a female. In the back, you can almost see the fruit back there. And then I've got green sorrel and the mustard growing. So I'm going to go look around, see whatever male flowers I can find and hand pollinate it. Tomatoes have been doing really good. We just keep picking and picking. Uh-oh. I see something I don't like. Okay. I got an issue. All right, I may have to tool. That one was full of red tomatoes yesterday and the day before. Like that one, it had double. And that means the deer have come through. And what they do is they come up, they'll roam through, and they love red tomatoes. See, they didn't get the one down here. They just didn't see it. But they'll come through here. There's no tool on here. And they'll pull off anything red. See? Whatever they can reach. Oh, yeah. Look, look, look. They've dropped some skin while they were eating. Yep, they came through. Because if it was a rodent, they wouldn't get all those tomatoes. There must have been about 30 of them on there. So now we know the deer are visiting. My neighbor asked me, have you seen the deer? I said, no, but when they come through, I'll know it because I have a ton of red tomatoes. I can stop them by simply wrapping tulle around it. They don't like it. They just go on their merry way. The smart thing for me to do would be to wrap this one just on the bottom like I did there and leave that one. So if they feel the tulle, they'll go, nah, and then they'll go to this one and let them nibble on that. Okay, this might be why the yellow tomatoes were disappearing. I'd come out here, there'd be a whole bunch, and the next minute they'd be gone. They're probably coming in here, look at the perfect height, and foraging and eating tomatoes. Anyways, so now we know what's going on there. I just love nature. This whole yard has got nature in it. It just reeks nature of all kinds. The bees, the lizards, yes, the snakes, and of course the rabbits and the squirrels. My onions look like they're pretty much done except for the few that are going to set seed. I'm going to leave that one and start pulling the rest of them out, as we go. Look, I've got purple. Can you see that? I've got the purple onions or the red onions. I've got white. Aren't they beautiful? There's nothing nicer than going out to your tote and yanking out an onion when you need it. They taste so much better than the grocery store onions. Now, I haven't tried any of these yet because they're still so green. These are the ones from Holland. I should try some soon. There's one. Because this is from the 99-cent store before they went out of business, and I planted that. See, there's tomatoes in here. Going to have to really watch because they will come through, the deer, and just take them all. So if they're really good, I should keep the seeds. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. But isn't this gorgeous? So I can step away from here. All I have to do is water. I haven't gotten to this yet, though it's giving me food. I've got Swiss chard. I've got walking onions, green Swiss chard, red and green, celery. This is not what I want, though. If I can get to the, to this and get the time, I plan on doing cucumbers here. And if I have to, I will tool in the entire thing. Now, this is new. I have been working on this for days. Notice there's nothing in the driveway anymore. We are done. The little bit that's there has some soil in it for me to move. The cars will stay because I'm going to grow tomatoes in each car, but that is it for the driveway. I want to get rid of the driveway garden. There's no need for it. And that long hose is perfect that I can walk down here, water to the pole, and then come back. This is my new butterfly garden. I'm going to have all kinds of milkweed in here. I'm going to grow different flowers. I've got right now some marigolds growing in here, the pot marigolds. I've got the forget-me-nots. I've got regular marigold too. I'm not even sure where it all is. I've been moving like mad, everything. This is the forget-me-nots. Here's another one flowering. And then of course, sow thistle, I planted that. I want that for the butterflies and the bees. I'm not trying to really encourage too many birds in here because we have so many butterflies. Oh, and mint. I love my mint. More sow thistle in there. But here we've got the caterpillars. They've been showing up, and the monarchs. There's one here. See right there? I think yesterday there was like 8 of them sitting here and they tuck away. Here's another one. Now, am I going to collect them when they get to that size and put them in a container? I don't know. I will tell you, I had some really nasty comments on that, saying you can't touch them. You have to leave them for nature. If something's going to eat them, something's going to eat them. We're going to report you. I just thought, I don't need this. I am so busy. Well, first of all, they don't know me. And the problem with this is they usually come to me and try to have me rehab stuff. I can't do that anymore. That was years ago, long gone. Those days are over. I don't have the time. Those are my younger years. So I would not have a problem with that. But right now, I don't know what I'm going to do. And whatever I decide, I will do. I'm going to set this up to kind of keep it more for nature. I could drape some tulle on top. This way, when I see them come out, ready to fly, I can undrape it. I've done that before. So we'll see kind of what happens with that. Look at the spray millet. This stuff's expensive when you buy it. Look at that, grew on its own. Is that cool? Now, what should be eating it is the spice finches, but I don't know. Maybe they'll find it soon. They haven't found it. That's not in a pot. It grew directly into this tote, so I can't move it into the bird garden. So it will stay there for right now. I'll probably collect some of that seed since it was born and raised here and grow some more for the bird garden. Then again, I've got my pepper plant. I don't know if this pepper plant, which is about 5 years old, if it will make it. I trimmed it back. We'll see. It probably won't. I'll start some new ones. That was black cobra, but I've got my garlic chives. I've got my mint. Oh, chocolate peppermint. And then I've got more milkweed and more of the walking onions. So that's what's been going on. I have been busy. We'll get back to this. You know what? Let's do this section since we're right here. I've got this blue tote sitting here growing some red vein sorrel. Yeah, let's do this. Let's change things up. My table has been a work table. Yes, that's a monarch. And this is where I used to do the monarchs. I would put them in there, and I don't have the gazebo here right now. It was nice and shady. I'd move them in there when they were big. Then they would chrysalid, have their cocoons come out, and I just open the top and let them go. So I'm not sure if I'll do that if we go ahead and, whoa, that was low, cool. That's a raven. If I'm going to do it, I'll see. But right now I put my lettuce out that came from the dog kennel here, and I want it to go to seed. I will move some of it, probably move the whole thing over there for the birds. This way the birds can eat the seeds, but I can collect some of them to grow. So it's just some of my romaine lettuce. And then my pizza garden, you know, it may look a little shabby, but I'll tell you, this has been going all winter. I have replanted nothing in here. Nothing. It's all from last year. The only thing I did is I added an extra pot on top there to layer, which is oregano. That's my old oregano. This is new oregano, and this is oregano that started growing on the ground next to the milkweed. Why? Because they're getting enough water. See the runoff? And then this is the basil from last year. This is really cool. And then, of course, the rosemary, I started from seed. The only thing that didn't make it was the thyme. And I've got thyme right now growing in the dog kennel. I don't know if I'll put a thyme on top. I could, but right now it's growing so good in the dog kennel, I'm gonna leave it. And then I've got the sage. Isn't that beautiful? It just flowered. It's almost done. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So the pizza garden's doing really good. And why is it a pizza garden for all you newbies? Because I make my own gluten-free pizza crust and I put that in there and it's so good. I haven't made it for a little while. I'm gonna have to. My peppers are trying to make a comeback, but I have a ton of peppers to plant. I think this is all gonna be peppers when I'm done. So I'm kind of moving things around. These totes here will be all peppers. So I'm cleaning that all off, moving things. See, this is old from last year. I don't need it. Now, this is a cutting that I planted. Oh, look at the roots are coming through the bottom. And I use pots. Whatever I bought other flowers or plants, I keep the pots and reuse them. This was small, and now it's taken off. These leaves are beautiful. So I don't know where I'm going to put this one. It was in those green totes that I just showed you, because that's how I propagate a lot of stuff, and I just moved it here recently. So I'll find a place for it. Maybe it will stay here and I'll grow it among the peppers. And so well, this I'm planning on doing all peppers, and I have to move my potato mint. And I've got to move it before it gets too big. It's too hard to handle in a tote. What I want to do is be able to dump it, get all the little potatoes out, and then put it back, some of them. So I'm going to get that done very soon. I have not gotten to my strawberry towers. And then here, I've got to clean through all this. The only one that's really been officially done is this one. It's got mustard. It's got my cherry tomatoes that the deer are probably going to come through soon. I may have to do something here. Walking onions. And then I'll do all these. And I'll probably get some watermelon in here and more zucchini. And then I propagate all the geraniums along the bottom. This is just extra plants. This is not a plant. Again, I'm making soil. I don't think there's anything under here. No, because it's sitting on wood chips. And then celery. Look at this. Came up on its own. But you know what's amazing on this, the zinnias in here? There's no soil in here. See the roots? I brought over some wood chips and leaves, and I was sitting it there to put on top of my buckets of potatoes, and I never got to it. And they grew in leaves. There is no potting mix, no soil out of a tote. There is no soil in there. It's Mother Nature's soil. And if you think Mother Nature's soil is no good, look again. Look at all the flowers that are going to open all through here. Strictly on stuff I scraped off the ground, took from the pepper tree, any leaves I've got, thrown it in there, forgot about it for a few months. Seeds dropped in there because I had a big zinnia growing over there, and it grew in that. So, do we have to do a lot of composting and breaking our back and shoveling? That's up to you, not me. Okay, I'm going to get some of the flowers out of here. I have more zinnias that went in there and different things, and move that out. And I'm going to move my potato mint that's in that red tote in here. And I'll probably make 3 of them here. And then all the milkweed, and then here's zucchini. I've been picking zucchini. Zucchini season is here for me, but I've got other work to do here. Here's a young zucchini I brought out recently, and it's from the house. Should be a little bigger than that, but we'll see what happens. Forget-me-nots in a pot, layering. Here is my pitcher. You know how I do that. I could open this up really quick. The whole video is online. You can compost in here. You know what? The best thing to do is go check it out. But you lift up the lid. Can you see in there? And you put in all kinds of leaves and stuff, and then you water it. Now, any earthworms, keep that down, that are around will go in there and live in there. They'll go back and forth. Yet they're just the microbes, everything is munching it down and it's feeding your plant. Then I got pepinos. Now this, oh wow, there's a big one back there. I just brought in a bunch. I think there's one more ripe one. We ate it the other day. Yes, see, this one's yellow. Sweet like sugar. Gary was so excited. This has to come off today or tomorrow. This poor plant. Look at this. Definitely have to change that and then set up that. This is the quickest thing to do. Just some irrigation tubing, a couple tomato stakes, and then just wrap tulle around it. Leave the top open so as you can see the pollinators. I just saw her going up and down. Here's a little tiny one, and the plant will grow better. I'll clean up any leaves that have powdery mildew on it. But this is what I've been doing as I've been growing them, just slowly changing them over. And notice they're all different. This one's tied with a piece of fabric on the top. So I crisscrossed it this way. This one is not. It's done that way. I put a flag on top, just an old flag I had. Any fabric, an old shirt will do. And then here I didn't do anything, so they're all doing good. And I've already got another zucchini back there. I picked so much zucchini off of this one. Oh, there's two. Trim that down really good, and I want to make sure that makes a comeback. But I am starting to grow back up. So if any of them look like they're on their way out, pull them out, compost them, and start growing again. Now, instead of the pitcher, sometimes you can just use a pot. And there's a pot in there, and I throw leaves in that pot, water that pot, and again, it feeds the plant. And then this one too, I've got to change. The reason is I just put these on because they were so low and they just bursted in the growth. So I got to get that one done, and then I'll have to do this one too. It's going to be very warm today, I think. Not hot, but just warm. So I'll get to this in the next couple days. They all should look like this. So the plants have room to stretch their arms and stretch around to grow. Now, I haven't done anything in here, so there's nothing new because I've been, like I said, building a hummingbird garden and working in the bird garden, but I still have plenty of lettuce. A lot of it's starting to bolt, and I'm going to let it bolt, and then I'll start all over again. I'm not doing anything with this one. This one is done. As far as I'm concerned, I will start seeds in here. It keeps squirrels out, rats, nothing gets in there. They could, but they don't know. They come along the bottom, they find the 1/4-inch wire, and they don't know what's open on the top. So this I'm going to leave. And that's the back side of the rainbow garden. Now, all the milkweed that's on the bottom will stay there. Those are in the ground, and periodically I cut them back so the new growth comes up. It's better for the butterflies. It's better for the plant and everything. A lot of this is old. I'll trim that back, put it in pots, and they'll get all new growth. See, this is why it's growing everywhere. They keep creating new seed pods. So I'm hoping to get the milkweed out of all this and get this back into a vegetable garden. So I've got pepinos here, but they're kind of fizzling out. They're getting smaller, which means the plant is old. And how do I make a new plant? You propagate. And then you have a nice new plant, young plant. It makes no sense, but it works. And that's about it. Now, as far as this dog kennel, I'm getting very close now. I'm not worried about the weeds that are growing inside because they're going to create my soil as I work in here. So I'm letting it do its thing. And then when I'm in there, I'm going to get holes in those totes down there. I'm still debating if I'm going to do 1 or 2 or turn it. And then I'm going to have all kinds of stuff growing in here. I already have Swiss chard growing. I have got tomatoes growing on down there, all on their own. But all the weeds are going to go into the tote. So grow, 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 which is fine with me. That is perfect. I'm going to hit this with black paint all the way around the bottom. I guess I'll do the whole thing. I'm not sure because, see, as it ages, it goes from this bright silver to this darker gray because it's oxidizing outside, and then it will get a little darker. I mean, technically, I could leave it. It's just for looks. I probably will hit the whole thing with black paint, and then I will go for it. But before I do that, I do want to tool it. I want to keep as many insects out as possible. So anything growing in here will have to not be needing pollination. Don't come back and ask me, or you can ask me, what about the plants that need pollination? This will be for lettuce, kale, collard, tomatoes, even peppers. I'm going to do cucumbers. I'm going to try to hand pollinate. There's some that I think are self-pollinating. I will check that out. I'm not sure, but I can hand pollinate all that. Unless I change my mind, which I don't think so. I really want to keep everything out. And then in the winter, I can do other things with this. So this is gonna be really fun. But I do plan on wrapping tulle all along the bottom to keep most of the insects out. The bottom is not cement here. Some things could come up. I'm not gonna worry about every little thing, but I think it's gonna be really cool to be able to go in there and know I'm not gonna have hornworms and all that. So we'll see how it goes. So I get very little hornworms because of the Orioles. And that's about it. Let's see, where should we go? There's nothing in the front yard, but I think we can go to the front yard. All right, let's go run to the front yard. I love these fountains, and so do the birds. I'm gonna have to say it looks the same. Though we did, or Jerry did and I did, get rid of all the brown, all the dead brassicas. Now I let them go to seed, like this one, and they did not come back. And that's what I said. If you don't cut it all the way down, if the plant creates a ton of seeds, which it did for the birds, then sometimes, too many times, they can die back. So they did, and I'll do something else with the back and the table if I get time. I didn't last year. I did grow bok choy and lettuce and stuff in there, but I really want to set that up nice. I'm hoping to get the table done. And then I've got the geraniums growing all over here, in here too. Isn't that beautiful? So this has turned out to be a nature garden, though it doesn't look like it. We've had birds raise babies in here. We've had birds raise babies back there, and just think of the ones I haven't seen because I'm not hunting for them. And then of course they've got the pine trees, which they do nest in too. Okay, let's walk down here. See, everything's gone. Again, it's just me. I don't have a crew. Oh, I would love a crew. Anyways, but then I like doing things my way. This will all be gone when I'm done. This is great soil that came out of all these containers. This is going to be all redone for turmeric and ginger. There is nothing in here but the soil waiting to do its thing. In other words, I have to go ahead and start putting the turmeric in there and water it real good. But if all goes well, like every year, this will be just full of turmeric and ginger growing here. And that's what I plan on doing, unless I change it up. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see how it goes. But right now it's in storage. And then I've also got it kind of like there's a pot there. There's other pots around here that are scattered around that I didn't get to, which is good. I have tons of turmeric, more turmeric than ginger, I must admit. All right, let's go into the bird garden. Here's the bird garden. Is this not beautiful? Look at this. It's so green. Well, first of all, the sun now goes over the house. So this is all shaded, which a lot of these plants like, kind of getting reflective sunlight. But look at the walking onions. Look at my compost I haven't gotten to, which is fine. More walking onions on this side, more plants here. But these totes that are growing here, all these plants, they're like 8 to 9 years old and still going strong. I've got the pineapple sage in here. I've got a geranium that should not be this big. More geranium there. I've got garlic chives, walking onions. There's orange mint. This is all orange mint here. Is this not gorgeous? And then different things on the top. I just stuck them here. I've got walking onions. I've got a pepper growing. More mint. More geranium. And some of this stuff just came up on its own. Look at this. Swiss chard. Red vein sorrel. Is this not gorgeous? So this has worked out really well, easy to take care of. There's my mushroom plant that does not like full sun, so it's really happy now. This side I'm gonna change up. Now I don't know if I'm gonna leave the milkweed here. I might move it to the butterfly garden. But what I might do is get some other flowers in here. I do have flowers. I've got geraniums, more geraniums back there, some walking onions, and I've got the forget-me-nots here. This is a hummingbird's lunch. So I may end up moving this one. And that's in a dish pan, so it'll be easy to move. I'll see. I mean, the pollinators love it. The bees are all over it during the day, so we'll see how it goes. Now, this is a brassica that I'm leaving for nature that I pulled out of the chair garden. Now, I wrapped this with tulle because rodents and squirrels were going up it to eat the seeds. But I didn't wrap this one. And see what they've done to this? They've eaten it. I'm leaving this. I could wrap it, but this is my sacrificial plant. So I'm gonna let them come up here because when they come and they touch the tulle, they don't want that. So they come and they touch this one, they can climb on it and do what they want. They can have that. So it works out better all the way around to have something for the animals around here, since they're here anyways. And then the other way is I can still grow for the birds, and the birds can hang off of that and eat the seeds. Look at my lemon verbena. It's a tree. And right now, you probably can't see them. It is full of spice finches in there. So I've got the wall of geraniums. This was one tiny plant I stuck there that is growing all through there. The birds love to duck and cover in there. I've got a walking onion down there. And then look at the beautiful dragon fruit plant. Wait till we start getting dragon fruit. It's still too cool for dragon fruit. They really want the heat. And we won't get the heat until the middle of July and then into August. This works out really good for them. Somebody had given me this crate. The birds can go in and out of there and eat, but no hawk can ever get to it. But I'm still working in here. This is nothing. I've got plans of putting water features in here. Let's go on the other side, and other things in here. So this will all be changed around. This is just the start of the other part of the bird garden. There's my blanket flower. I'm doing so much propagating off of this now. Look, this is the one that's been propagated. There's one, I think, in here that's been propagated. Then I've got zinnias growing. Marigold should be opening up soon. Look at this. It's just so pretty. This is one I propagated. This is an emu bush with yellow flowers. I put that on the stump there. A lot of places for the birds to run around. We had this morning here a pintail whita. She was climbing around here, or I should say hopping around here. Then I do a lot of propagating on geraniums. So I've got all different types of geraniums, not counting my fuchsia. I have not propagated that yet. It's just tucked in there because it doesn't like full sun. I've got to clean that fountain. I'm getting ready to do it. And then here I've got salvia, hummingbird's lunch, and then the emu bush, the yellow one. I've got a pink one here, but I think it needs more sunlight, see? And it grows differently. It grows straight up, where that one really bushes. There are only, what you can see here, 3 plants here. And the thing is, they're not in the ground. They're in the original pot. We brought them home in, stuck them there, watered them. They sent their roots into the ground, and they've turned into this massive plant. Is it good? No, but it's working, and I'm not going to pull it apart right now. Now, I know this is a stressed plant, because look at the size of the leaves. Look how tiny they are. But this plant produces so many flowers. I get flowers all year, even in the winter. So I'm going to leave it alone, but I've got backup if something happens. If it ever dies back, I've got this one that I propagated. I could move that in there, even switch pots, and you'll see as we walk through, there are so many. And then I've got all here I'm propagating. Here's a small one that I propagated. Then here is blanket flower. Here is salvia propagated. More blanket flower. This is a tomato that's got to go into the chair garden. That's my lettuce. I think I have to get rid of a lot of this and start it over because I've been harvesting constantly, and it really wants to go to seed. So it's time to get some new ones. But look at this. Here's another one I propagated. So I'm ready. And I've got another blanket flower. I've got more geranium in there. More emu bush. Look, I'm propagating this in buckets. I'll move them soon. More propagating, that's what I'm doing. A lot of propagating. Why? Free plants. This stuff's expensive when you go to buy it. I don't mind buying one as long as I know I can get more out of it. And then I've got more of the red geraniums. I've got these. Aren't they beautiful? Now these are kind of man-made. They've been manipulated to look like that because geraniums didn't have that type of flower. So keep that in mind that sometimes, we'll talk about it, you can't get seeds off of them. And then I've got all the plants here. And then I've got my brassica, which really needs a good grooming. It's got a lot of powdery mildew, but all this is gold to me. Do I compost leaves with powdery mildew in it? You betcha. What does nature do? Goes to the ground. Why? Because the moment it goes to the ground, it can't live on the plant anymore. So it turns into our compost. As I call soil, it is not, it is compost. And that's what I do. And yes, I save everything and I'm making my own soil everywhere. Is it working? You tell me. I'm not even going to answer that because some people are going to say, no, you have to put it in a pile. You have to turn it. You have to do this. No, I don't. You know what? You do what works for you. I see the birds back there. You probably can't see them. And I'm going to do what has been working for me. So every leaf is important. Now, here's a portulata I bought. Bought it at the worst time you could possibly buy it. Completely flowered and just bursting with growth and flower and color. But here's the thing, it was at its peak. And being at its peak, well, it's done. It's almost done. Now, I've been looking for seeds, and they only get to about there and then they fall off, which means it might be manipulated to the point for all these different colors and the way they're trying to get them to grow. They may not grow seeds, so I'm waiting for them. But I will say, I can do cuttings. And I've been taking little pieces and I look around under the plant, or I look around sometimes just having it sit here. And if I find anything, then I've been pushing it in that soil. Now, if you go online, it will tell you not to water these until they're dry. Don't believe everything you read, because I have found that if you let this dry, it looks terrible and you won't be able to produce new plants. Look at that, they're already going to flower. And these are pieces I just made. I found for me, I'm going to water them, but they're not producing seed. Kind of like the geraniums I told you about. A lot of geraniums will not produce seed. Well, that's the same problem with a lot of other plants as well. Now, a lot of the plants that we've got here now are all done from cuttings. Look at the bumblebees coming around. That might be a carpenter bee. They are so busy in the garden here. It's just, I love it. I love to be able to come out here in the morning. Zoe sits by the door, and thank goodness she has learned what is a bird and what is a squirrel. And the ground squirrels do not belong here. And she chases them off because the food belongs to the birds. And that's the way she wants it. So that's what she does every morning. The birds come in and they feed, but not the squirrels. Oh, look, there's another little bird back there, a yellow one. Not sure what it is. And I don't have my super duper camera to see. But anyways, I'm going to get more water features in here. Going to get more flowers in here. All these bushes, even if they don't eat them, is made for them or here for them to dart into to hide. So if they see a predator, they dart into a bush and then they can't be got. And they can't catch them because a hawk needs to swoop and pick up. If they're in the bush, it's done, it's over with. Look at the size of that mint back there. Wow. And then look at my beautiful tree collards. They get a lot of water. Why? Because we fill up the fountain and then I make sure that always gets watered, and that's why you end up with 8-foot, 10-foot tree collard, because it's getting so much water. This was a cutting or a plant that Gary picked up. Some guy was working on the street, a landscaper, and he stopped and the guy said, "Here, you want some?" And he gave it to him. You can get a lot of free plants. If you ever see a landscaper working, you can always stop and say, "Hey, do you have any scraps that cuttings they took off you don't want?" And you'd be surprised sometimes what they give you. So that's what's going on here. And then I've got a marigold that's about ready to pop open. And there's a zinnia here. So I want to pop in a lot of different flowers throughout here. And I want to see more color and more places for birds and pollinators to feed on. But I am still, look at the lizard. Hey, little guy. I am still making sure there's food in here. And all these are brassicas. Now, some of them may not make a comeback, but I am trimming a lot off the one in the back that I like. Tree collards did not go to flower, which is better. So I know I have all my tree collards to eat, because we do eat this. And then the lemon verbena, that doesn't matter. It's an herb, and we use that for tea. Oh, hold on. Got something here. Oh, this is some sort of cocoon. I don't know what. Look. This looks like praying mantis. Look at that. Is that not cool? But this one I have been coming through and trimming the seed heads off. I don't want to lose this, even though it is trying so hard to produce seeds. See how small the leaves got? If you look back, you'll see how big they were. And that is a very special plant to me. And I've got it growing in different places. Again, I've got some plants that are sacrificial. For some reason, the critters want to chew on that one, but they won't chew on this one. So I'm not going to cover that one. Let them do what they want on that. And when I want cuttings, I'll just take some cuttings off of it and propagate more. And let them pick and choose what they want so they stay off of what I want. That's basically it. I mean, there's nothing here. I still have to clean all this up. I'm getting to it. There's a lot to do for one person. See, all this is important to me. If it's turning yellow, then the plant is trying to take care of it. So I usually take those off when I see them, I get a chance, and then I compost that, or just put them like on my new method right now, where I have it when I need it. This is doing really good. Look at that. I've got the pot marigold coming up that I moved here. I've got the blue Chinese forget-me-not, and then my tomatoes already have tomatoes on it. Look at that. This is really cool, and nothing's getting in there. I did have a grasshopper the other day we had to take out and toss out because the top is open. I'm mainly doing this to keep out basically rodents that will jump up on top and eat something in there, and they don't like it. Anything with little tiny nails, they don't want to touch the tool, so it works out beautiful. And then back here, I've just got different things growing. I got 4 o'clocks, more geraniums. I've got back here red vein sorrel. You probably can barely see it. Walking onions. Kind of shove things back there if I'm not sure where I want to put it. But I also layer. To make this little tree collard I put in there grow, I put pots all around it. So when I water the pots, I know that the water goes to the root of the plant. A few people said, why in the world would you grow in a raised bed and put the plants in pots? Because here in Southern California, when we hit 100 to 110 degrees, these plants need the water or they're not going to make it through the heat. When they're in a pot and that has big holes that go into the bottom, they can send their roots in the bottom. But when I water that pot, 100% of that plant gets the water. 100%. If it was in the ground here and I watered it, you don't know if a mole went through, let's say gopher went through. You don't know what made a tunnel underneath. You may water here, but the water could go in there and then travel this way, and your plant will never get water. When I have a plant in a pot, just like my bird garden you saw, all those plants, the big ones in the center are in pots. The plant gets 100% of that water, everything it needs. And that's why I grow many times, not always, in pots, but I also sit it on a raised bed or a tote. And let me tell you something, it works for me. Maybe you don't need to do it, but it works perfect. And then this is another propagating table. I've got, again, you see the Hummingbirds lunch, some purple kale over there, and that's basically it. We have gone all the way around. I don't know if the papayas will make another year. Gary said he thinks they're at the end of life. They only live like 5 to 7 years. So we're already starting some new seeds, or at least we just collected some seed. We had 2 beautiful sweet fruit the other day, and we do have many more. So we'll see how it goes, and I think we're gonna have to start over, because a lot of our papayas we were growing here were the same age. He took some, I had a bunch here, I took some. Well, here they grew in the compost. But that's basically it. We've made the walk. Look at my hose. I love these hoses. No kink. We've walked all through. You've seen everything. I still have to fill this up. I'm putting in branches and different things. So this will have something growing in it. Probably to not bother with it, it'll be mainly mint. But then this I've got to do right away. Look. Oh, cool. Look what's growing under the shovel. Why? Because it wants a little shade. This is all turmeric. And I do want this out. This is too much sun for the turmeric. It needs more shade. I'll have to find someplace else for it. Plus, I don't want it in a tote. You cannot lift this thing and get it out, and it grows down into the bottom. So that will be a project I'll have to do, hopefully be done within 2 weeks. So when you see me in 2 weeks, this should be done. And then maybe get some more of the mint. Maybe take this mint out. It's so root bound, and just drop it in there. I think that's, just take some of the wood chips that Gary collected, throw it in there, because I see how the soil pulled away from the edge on this. These are old too. They're over 5 years old. And maybe just lift the whole mint out, because it'll be like a brick. Drop it in there, but this tote has to go, because I don't want the turmeric in there. All turmeric, I've told you so many times, I grow in pots now, or buckets. Something I can tip over, get my turmeric out, redo the pot, and then replant pieces I want to regrow. So I'm going to have to do that soon. There's really, time is going by so fast. They're growing before I knew it. So that's been it. I hope you enjoyed this. I so enjoy having a garden. And you know what? You can make a bird garden, a little nature garden on your deck as well. Believe you me, the birds know when there's flowers, food, plants around, and they can come. You can make the tiniest garden. Oh, look at the spice finches. They're sitting there taking a bath. It's so easy to do. I mean, we didn't have this here before. This was nothing. And it was just, who would come here? What birds would come here? And then over the years, starting to bring in flowers and plants, all the birds come. Why? Because they found the little bird of paradise, so, a little oasis for them to come to, someplace to take a bath, to get a drink, to eat some seed or insects from the garden. And why wouldn't they come? I mean, they're not going to find it in the big city usually, are they? Not when everything's being cleared and people are putting in cement and putting in a lot of succulents. It's not a whole lot for them. Look at this. That's like 100 spice finches back there. You think I'm kidding? You won't see them take off. But like Gary said, this is unreal. The amount of spice finches that are now here. Just gorgeous. So I hope you enjoyed this. I happen to love starting my day this way, and I think it really is good and nice. Get some flowers, put it on the deck, grow some lettuce around it, some brassicas, something green and easy for you to just grab, parsley, and you can have your own garden and nature too. With that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. And the weed whackers and the weed blowers, everything's coming out now. I think we're ending this just in time. Bye-bye.